Good morning, Barry Bryson here, thanking you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. Today we're concluding our study of the book of 2 John, which is part of our larger study of the neglected books of the Old Testament. And today we want to talk about the themes, the lessons that we've learned from 2 John. This is such an important book, and it has such a large message for the church. I just think about the message of this book applying to everyone who's wandered out of orbit. Some people can wander out of orbit because they wandered to the right, and some people wander out of orbit because they've wandered to the left, for lack of better terms. And this book addresses both. And it tells us who abide in truth, remember the 3 themes are love, truth, and abide, that we abide in love, that we abide in truth, and that truth and love are the same thing. And that to be obedient to truth is to express love to God and to be loving to each other. That in itself is an enormous theological lesson. This equation of truth and love, that they're not 2 different things, they are indeed the same thing. And that to abide in truth is to abide in love, and to abide in love is to abide in truth, because they are indeed equivalent. But this notion that you don't participate with people who teach what is not true about Jesus. And earlier in our study, I talked about the congregation I grew up in and how we had a guy there that didn't believe there was even a Holy Spirit, and that nobody thought that was necessarily something to argue about. And this guy was allowed to teach class and to fully participate, to speak on occasion, and even to teach class and say that he didn't believe the Holy Spirit even existed, that there wasn't a Holy Spirit. And that was fine. But let somebody clap their hands at VBS during the singing of a song at VBS, and we had to have an elders meeting over that. That person who believed there was no Holy Spirit had theological and doctrinal issues. These are the things that the New Testament writes letters about, not whether or not you clap your hands during a song at Vacation Bible School. And I'm not trying to argue one way or the other on whether you clap your hands at Vacation Bible School. Everybody who's been at Vacation Bible School at Manassas know that I do plenty more than just clap my hands when we do singing. But if you don't like that, that's fine. That's fine. I don't want to argue with you about it. But if you don't believe there's a Holy Spirit, or you don't believe that Jesus came in the flesh, we've got huge problems, and I cannot cooperate with you, no matter how much we may agree on issues. If we don't agree on doctrine, we cannot cooperate with each other. Doctrine being clearly demonstrated New Testament teaching about the nature of God and His saving of us. And we cannot cooperate with people who don't agree with us on those issues. And I think in terms of the other end of the spectrum, about congregations who just embrace ecumenism and will cooperate and feel like they're doing the Lord's work in cooperating with religious groups who do not agree at all about New Testament doctrine, who don't believe in the truth about Jesus and are not teaching the truth about Jesus, about His person, about our salvation through Him. And John clearly tells us you cannot do that. You cannot cooperate with people who teach what is false about Jesus and at all. You just can't. And we will be judged. We will be judged by straying, wandering from the truth and not abiding in it. Whether we wander to the right or to the left, we will be judged for not abiding in truth. That is an enormous point that he makes. I mean, that's really the reason he wrote this letter. The reason he wrote this letter is to tell the members of that congregation, do not give them a greeting. Do not let them stay in your house. Do not facilitate, cooperate with, or in any way participate in their work, because they're not teaching what is right about Jesus. And he gives us the same warning. Okay, well, I'm going to give you some seconds off today and end before we hit 5 minutes. Thank you for joining me. We'll do 3 John next time.